So, Batman vs. Superman, The Dawn of Justice. I know it's taking me way too long to go see it, but, I'm still recovering from being, half dead and all. Anyway, the movie was alright. It was alright. It went a little long, but it's fine. But yeah, the movie was alright. I went into it, just hoping not to hate it. I didn't go in thinking I would hate it. I was just hoping not to just hate the fuck out of it, because I wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel. My whole viewing experience watching it, I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy Man of Steel. I got a lot of death threats because of what I said about Man of Steel. Whatever. But this one, it wasn't bad, but there were parts where I was like, wow, really? It wasn't bad where I kept going, really? Really? Throughout the whole thing. Although, anytime Jesse Eisenberg was on screen, that's when I did it. Which, one, it's mainly because his portrayal of Lex Luthor, and two, because it's Jesse Eisenberg, and I'm just not a fan of the kid anyway. They really should have stuck with the rumors and had fucking, Bryan Cranston. I understand. Once you finish watching a movie, you kind of end up, this review is gonna be spoiler heavy, duh. You understand why they kind of casted someone younger, because it's like, oh, this is my dad's, thing, and then because I'm young and slightly dumb and have all this power, I gotta fucking, take Zod's, shit and do other shit and make shit out of it. Because again, I'm young and I can't make correct decisions and blah blah blah, and I'm a bumbling idiot because again I'm young and have money, so my social skills aren't that good, blah blah blah. And it's like, I get it. At the same time, with the hair and all that stuff, and his the way how he was just kind of like that kind of portrayal just really reminds me more of Jim Carrey's The Riddler. Just again the hair, the whole ooh, that kind of stuff. And it's fine, it's once you see it's one of those things where on the outside I'm like, nah, no Jesse Eisenberg. Well, no younger character. Again, if there was rumor of Bryan Cranston, why not fucking go with Bryan Cranston? We already know what he looks like bald anyway. I enjoyed that they did show both Batman and Superman's strengths and weaknesses. It wasn't just heavy on, Batman just being a smartass, or just heavy on just Superman just being a strong dude. Yeah, they had those moments again, but they showed their weaknesses too. Obviously, the kryptonite, and then Batman just being human and all that stuff and whatever not. I like that they did do that. Kind of kept it equal, so there isn't a bias. So the movie didn't show a bias, whereas you as a viewer, you would probably have a bias whether you are a Batman or Superman fan, or neither, or both, or whatever. Although in the beginning, I found it funny that 20 minutes in, you see, what's his name, Henry Cavill shirtless, and it's like, hi ladies, have you missed this? And it's kind of like, and then halfway through the movie, it's shirtless Affleck, going through a workout montage, training montage thing. Anyway, shirtless men aside, if that's something you're oh, well, when can I wait to see this? I don't know why. Well, I do, but at the same time, I don't know why you would want to go see this movie, or why you would put this movie out in 3D. Obviously, money-wise, yeah, people are going, oh, it's a 3D movie, I'm going to see it in 3D, blah, 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 blah. And it's also I understand why going to see it in IMAX, but it sucks that there isn't an option to go see something in IMAX. Just IMAX 2D, then see an IMAX 3D. If you're going to see an IMAX, it's you have to go see it in IMAX 3D. But if you want to see it in 2D, you got to see it in the smaller screen. It's kind of But I saw it in the smaller screen because I wasn't. Because even from the trailer, you know that this movie takes place, a lot either in the dark, or where it's gray, overcast. It's just gonna be it's not gonna help the movie. It's not gonna help. And even seeing it in 2D, there were some parts that you could kind of see and understand where a 3D thing can work, but it's just no. Just, you don't need to see it in 3D. Again, if there was an IMAX option, just because it's a superhero movie, and it's big, and it always looks like the fucking sky and sun is blowing up behind me when I do the reviews earlier in the day. Also, I was I went to the movies by myself because because I was supposed to go with Paul last week, but I wasn't feeling well, so we didn't go, and we were supposed to go today, but he had something with his job or some shit, and I was like, you know what, I need to go see this fucking movie already, so I just like went to theater by myself, and since it's like a fucking like Wednesday morning afternoon shit, I was like the only one in the theater, which was fine, because like on one hand it's like I don't have to hear any like stupid people on their phone and like that kind of shit that gets annoying. And at the same time, like it was good. So like if I were to be pissed off at the movie, I can just make commentary out loud by myself, and it's fine. So that was good. But at the same time, being in the theater practically by yourself, there was like one or two people and they were quiet. But like being in the theater like by yourself, the downside to seeing like a movie kind of like this is that you kind of can't gauge how the audience felt about it. Because I was all right with it. Like I'm in the middle because like I didn't really like it, nor did I really hate it. Like I said, there are parts that I enjoyed and parts where I was like, really, and other parts where I'm like, I can see why you did that, but it's a lot of that okay fine kind of thing, because this could have been really bad. Like this could have easily just been like a shit show, to a degree. Again, it's kind of like what the hell, but anyway, so I couldn't really gauge like the audience and stuff. So what I found that was like a thing that what I found a thing wow my issue was just like a bit of pacing. So like it took like the movie's like almost 2.5 hours long kind of thing. So it took like half the movie of just like random interactions and all that stuff, and then like of course there's like the third act and all that stuff. Like like I said, halfway through, so when I gotta fight Superman, all that shit, and then of course the big thing happened. But like everything just gets, I feel like, just kind of rushed towards the end. Because I feel like in the beginning, like you kind of have like a let's catch everyone up kind of thing. So, hey, let's just kind of see where Bruce Wayne was during all that shit that happened in Man of Steel. Understandable, he'd be pissed off because he's seeing people die and da-da-da. And he's just like, fuck this guy. Understandable. And I do like that the movie kind of started off with this whole like, let's take another look, like at a different perspective of what happened. Because yeah, in Man of Steel, you're kind of supposed to be rooting for Superman. You want him like, to like beat the bad guy. But I was the one sitting there going like, oh my god, so many people are dying and everything's fucked right now. Like, how much in debt is like, the city gonna be by the end? Anyway, because I'm always that person. I saw it on like Tumblr somewhere. Or like, it's like, am I the only one that thinks about like the economic destruction of like of a city after it's like superheroes go through it, that kind of thing. But anyway, so you see he's pissed off, obviously. You see the world being kind of like, who is this guy? Yeah, he's like helping us. At the same time, like, look at all these people he killed. And, you got the people who are like, he helped us, he helped our village shit. And you got other people who are like, dude, I got no legs because of him now. Like, what the fuck? I was just at work. He fucking made, like a building fall down. I tried to get out, but look, this could have been avoided if he wasn't just like like shit happened. Like I said, then you got like the two sides of it of like, is Superman good, Superman bad, da da da. Again, it's not like how I've seen other portrayals of it where it becomes this whole like, Superman's the best no matter what, no matter how many people die and all the destruction happens, he cannot do wrong, and that's the thing when it comes to like this thing. And even like the Lex Luthor character called him like a god kind of shit. When you get to that status of doing that to a character when they're so perfect, and I don't want to say like a Mary Sue kind of thing, because that Mary Sue characters to me are just annoying more, rather than just like with a character like Superman or Batman, they get put up in a pedestal more than like, you could say it's the same thing, but to me I have like levels. Anyway, but when you kind of put them up into this like perfect, little cinnamon roll or whatever the fuck people say nowadays on the internet, it does get a little, one, it gets annoying because then you're like, how is any one person or alien being could be so perfect, all that other shit, but let's not go into the whole fucking thing. So they go through that. At least like I said, it's good. Again, as Batman, he's like, I'm not okay, you know, I'm not okay with this shit, because you just fucked up, like, people who work for my company, and you're just fucking up, shit. And he's Batman, so he's like, well, you're on the wrong side, so I'm gonna have to take you down, all that stuff. So it's like, majority of, like, the first half of the movie was a lot of that. And then random, like, looking over the shoulder at my backless dress from, like, Diana Prince and shit. Like, oh, yeah, hey, what's up? I'm here. Just, have you seen this backless dress on? Alright, so I took your shit, Bruce Wayne. And then the next one's like, hey, do you see this thing, that, like, this asymmetrical dress I have that's also backless? Have you seen this? Like, after a while, I was like, I get it. The girl's got a good body. You're able to, like, kind of drape whatever clothing on her. It's gonna look good. I get it. I get it. And it's also with, like, Batman, like, him having Alfred be his Alfred and a bit of, like, a Lucius Fox at the same time, because he's also, like, not that Alfred's never, like, helpful like that, but it's just, like, he's also doing, like, rewiring where, again, Alfred's a smart man, so I'm not surprised if he has the ability to do all that stuff, but just saying. Anyway, yeah, so, like, the first half of the movie is a lot of, like, these kind of random exchanges, like, the whole, like, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, like, all that shit. I just can't with Jesse Eisenberg. Like, I can't with that kid. Like, watching The Social Network was just so, like, watching that movie. Not a fan of that kid. So, anywho. But yeah, it's all that stuff. But when it came to the part where, like, the part where you see in the trailer where it's, like, literally the Batman vs. Superman fight, and it's kind of like how in Dark Knight Returns, shit happens, and it's like, Batman in that big-ass mech suit, because again, he has to fight Superman, and of course, he's doing the outsmarting thing with the kryptonite, like, Febreze can thing that gets shot at him, and then Superman's like, well, yeah, okay, you have to weaken me, but anyway, 2 seconds there, bam, I'm strong. Like, that's fine. But then it's like, literally, you guys are against each other, and the whole, like, yeah, either of you can kill each other at any time, really, but you're not. You're really wanting just to kind of stop one another, which, again, is understandable. But it, like, took... It took Superman to go, like, save Martha. Oh, he's got, like, a big-ass Batman boot at his neck. For Batman to be like, why are you saying my mom's name? Because I don't know your mother's name. Why did these creators create mothers with the same name? Fuck. And it's, like, that was the thing that got me, that, like, it took for him to be like, oh my god, our mothers have the same name, for him to be like, I'm gonna back off, and all of a sudden we're buddies, and we're working things out. Like, we're like, this fine, we're on the same team kind of shit. Alright. That's the thing that got me, because it's like, you got, like, this whole half of a movie where it's like, I don't know, backless dress, I don't know, that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden you got, like, this fight scene, and you're like, which, it in the comic it's referencing, it's like, that's, like, the last part, that's the third act. Whereas here, it's like, this is the beginning of the first part of the third act, and the second part, that's when Wonder Woman comes in and does some shit. So, yeah, like, it was like, that got me a little annoyed, because it's like, because our mothers have the same name, all of a sudden he's like, like, I understand you because you're saying that name, but it's also like, it's not that so uncommon of a name that no one else will have that. So, like, it makes you think, like, does Bruce Wayne hear the name Martha? Like, does he go into, like, does he, like, see anything Martha Stewart related? And it's just like, Mommy! Like, it's like, dude, you're making him seem like such a puss with that. And then it's also, like, the fact that they, like, the fact that they had Superman say Martha instead of they have my mother. Where you can think, like, well, since Superman already knows that that's Bruce Wayne as Batman, he probably, of course, knows that his mother's Martha and there's Thomas Wayne. Like, he probably knows that, so, of course, he probably was smart enough to say it to kind of stop Batman in his tracks. At the same time, it's this whole thing of, like, pretty much, like, they, like, can we all just get along happen because our mothers have the same name kind of thing. Anyway, that bullshit aside, and then he goes, like, then Batman goes and saves, like, Martha Kent, And it was like this kind of haha chuckle moment where he was just like, like, I'm a friend of your son's, and she's like, oh, I kind of guessed, the cape, like, I, I, your son has like super strength, all that stuff, and just seeing a guy dressed as a bat kind of stuff, you're really not that surprised. But yeah, like, that stuff happens. Of course, then Wonder Woman shows up, and she does some kind of kick-ass stuff. She got the lasso. Like, that part was cool. Like, when she arrived, like, that's when things, like, when the fight was like, yeah, we're fighting, instead of having a bitch fest between two guys kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's, like, little, like, DC Universe hints here and there, when like, he finds that stuff from LexCorp, and, and you see, like, the little, emblems. I was about to say slogans. That's not it. Recovering. The little, like, emblems. Obviously, you see the W. You got the Cyborg thing. You got Flash, and you got Aquaman. I don't know. I don't know how, like, obviously the DC universe, like, movie wise and company, how they're working on it. I just find it weird that you have the show, and then you have a different guy cast as the Flash for the movie. I just find that odd. Like, but understandably so. Like, TV world, movie world aren't always so interconnected, where, like, it's probably contractually, like, he can only do stuff on CW and not, like, a movie, even though it's, like, owned by the company, all that stuff, like, it's like the thing with the Marvel and Fox shit, where, like, yeah, you could have an X-Men movie and Wolverine could be in it, but, like, at the same time, like, it's still, like, Fox has more this control over it, and then Marvel, you know what I mean? Like, the whole, like, rights to things and stuff. So that I understand to a degree. At the same time, like, you would think, because you introduced Flash, like, in the show, that you would kind of, like, just then branch. Anyway, that's just me. That's just, like, my feelings on that stuff. But that's, like, something that you understand. It's, like, it's a different type of thing. Anyway, so someone I work with was even saying, like, yeah, this is kind of like the, like, backwards of the Marvel universe, which is the Marvel universe, you got all the individual movies, then you come together for your Avengers flick and all that stuff. Now you have kind of a little bit backwards, where, like, you're introduced, because it's like Nolan stuff, like, you push all that stuff aside. Of course, you have Man of Steel you start off with, but then you have your, like, Holy Trinity movie, and then you're branching off to the individual movies, and then your Justice League movie. Like, you're kind of going a little bit. It's kind of like if there, it's kind of like if there was, like, the first Iron Man movie, then it was Civil War. You know what I mean? Then it was the individual movies, then it was the Avengers, and all that stuff. It's kind of like that way. I'm fine with how they're going about this way. So at least it's not so obvious that, not obvious, but it's not so, like, we're going in the footsteps of this thing of individual films equal one like, one big film kind of stuff. Because we all know that Marvel already has so many years, and, like, 10 years already under the belt of doing this cinematic universe. Now DC, because they've gone through, like, they're like, oh, okay, Nolan, again, aside, start the universe now, you got all this stuff. And it's fine, like, do it, like, keep going at a good pace, guys. Like, and the fact that Wonder Woman's gonna come out before the movie, before Captain Marvel, because I think they had it scheduled, I think, to come out around the same year. I think even Marvel's gonna have it come out, again, I could be wrong, the date stuff, I don't remember, but I remember year-wise would be about the same. And then within the same, I think, like, summer, like, spring or summer, like, the same amount of time, around the time, I can't, recovering, but because of, like, Ant-Man and all, Captain Marvel got pushed over. Anyway, all that, the two big, company stuff aside, red versus blue and shit, the movie, like I said, like, once everything, once the three get together and they're fighting, I kind of find it funny that during the Doomsday thing, which I also thought it was kind of funny that he had, like, like, Lex Luthor had to announce, like, this is Doomsday, as in, obviously we're referencing to that series, like, that comic. You know how it ends. Which, when the movie first came out, I saw this, like a quick thing on BuzzFeed, because I didn't want spoilers, but it was just, like, the title was, like, Zack Snyder was surprised that people couldn't guess the ending. And part of me was like, well, if it's going by the comic, and I knew, like, obviously that part was going to be, like, Dark Knight Returns, but yeah, obviously the moment when Lex Luthor was like Doomsday, I was like, well, what happens at the end of Doomsday, with Superman. Again, if you haven't realized it's a spoiler, heavy review, Superman dies. But again, in the comic book world, most people, when they die, they come back to life. There are certain constants that are like they're dead, like Uncle Ben and frickin' Batman's parents and all that stuff. But then you got people who die and come back to life, and you got Bucky, you got, Superman, you got all these people who, like, they're gone and then they come back, like, that happens. Like, the Flash died and came back, like, it happens. And so from what I heard, is that people were upset with the ending. And, like, not to be that kind of, like, asshole to be like, well, if you would have known the comic, you would have known, da-da-da. And even in the end, you see his wooden fucking coffin with the dirt on it, and the dirt starts, like, raising up. It's gonna happen, like, I don't know. Again, it's kind of like, early, like, towards the earlier part of the season of Walking Dead, when everyone's like, oh my god, is Glenn okay, all that stuff. And I kept saying, like, that's not how he dies. There's a pinnacle thing in the comic book that, like, we know, again, like, comic books versus movie, comic book versus the show kind of shit. It kind of goes in its own direction. Like, you got your constant, which is whatever the comic is. You got that one storyline. And then you take the pieces and they do the movie and they do the TV shows, whatever. So some things might get fudged a bit. But there are certain things that are, like, or like you got the storyline and you go with that part, and then of course you branch out, do your own thing. There are certain constants in the world. And I remember just getting in, not an argument, but in a slight tiff with someone who was like, well, not everything goes by the comic. Just because you read the comic doesn't mean it does this, and you have to stop acting like you know everything about this, and da-da. And it was like, whoa, I'm just going on a logic scale, but damn, I'm sorry I upsetted you so much about it, But yeah, there are people who, like, don't read the comics and they just enjoy the shows or they just enjoy the movies. So, and I get it. It does come off a little snobbish sometimes when people are like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing if you went to go see, like, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or any of those fucking movies. And people are like, well, in the book, da-da-da. Like, yeah, you might get a little annoyed, but sometimes it's like, yeah, the person read the fucking, source material, so they're gonna say that it's different from what they saw there. It just is what it is. Like, and I'm yelling, and I barely have a voice, kinda, sorta. Anyway, enough of me complaining about that, because that's like another whole topic of what pisses me off, because I tend to be that asshole who, like, read the book before they saw the movie or read the comic before the series came out kind of shit. Like, where I'm just like, oh, okay, they kind of did that. Oh, yeah, they did that differently, but that's fine. Again, like, I understand why you would do it differently in a movie or a TV show than you would do, like, in a series and a book kind of thing, because some things, like, they're fine written, and, like, just, like that, and some things are, like, they work better visually, and sometimes they're fine both. And just, I don't know. Like, some people just don't get it. Like, it's just to be an asshole, like, you don't get it, so fuck you. Batman vs. Superman, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Like, again, there's so many things that could have been done better with it, but again, it could have been so much worse. Like I said, the pacing thing, I don't think it really needed to be 2.5 hours, but now, it's a lot of stuff going on. You needed to see what was happening with Superman, how this Batman, because it's not Christian Bale anymore, it's Affleck, how this Batman deals with, like, the baddies and stuff. So, that's fine. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Leave whatever hate comments about how you feel about this review, because most people probably don't even get to this to this end part anyway. And they just hear the first few words, and they just fucking, like, put down they want me to go kill myself. But anyway, I saw the movie. I don't remember what trailers happened. I went to go buy snacks during that. I didn't fucking, like, bother with the trailers, because I was the only one there. Anyway, see ya. hopefully I'll get to see Hardcore Henry coming soon. But anyway, whatever. Next big movie is obviously Civil War and blah blah blah. Anyway, bye.